And we're back with Seriously Sidetracked. I'm Josh.
I'm Nicholas, and you've heard it right, guys. We finally decided on a name.
Yeah, it took about like 5 minutes because, we put up
it took like at least 2 days.
I think it took me, relatively speaking, you see, the thing is with me, time goes by at this pace where it's like 5 minutes is like 5 seconds. So that to me was pretty quick, but I know what you mean. It was definitely a tough part, especially the last letter on that. Like I was almost like, what if it was just Seriously Sidetracked? No D. They dropped the D. Let's just be a little bit more, hip with the times.
Well, I don't know. I think people find the D is very important.
Yeah, especially my daughter.
Josh, what aren't you telling me?
Oh, so remember last time when they said the lucky lady was Rio? So we have a daughter now. Oh, yeah, we have a daughter now.
Really? That fast? What time chamber did you use to get to that point so fastly that you already have a daughter?
I used the accelerator cannon mixed with a little bit of trisolamite, a rare element we mined for on Mars 20 centuries ago. You see, I'm from another planet, guys. I know you guys probably are like, oh, no surprise there, Josh. You're always in your own little world. Well, of course, I'm from another world. I'm a Noonanite.
So before we start the episode, I do want to address a bit of a controversy. A lot of people pointed out to me after last week's episode. A lot of people voiced their opinions. I really appreciate them. A lot of people were really mad about this, so I did want to address this. I am sorry that I said I didn't like Dragon Ball. So
it's all good.
I still don't like it, but I'm
I
sorry
understand.
that
well, I respect that.
I got so many people banned about that, and so please bear with us as we constantly work on ourselves, and maybe even help us as we constantly work on ourselves and our opinions. Thank you.
Yeah, it was like a good character arc. I really feel like in my life, and I think in your life as well, that we've gone through a bit of personal growth in the past 4 or 5 years. Mm-hmm. You have any thoughts on that?
Nope.
Wow.
Absolutely nothing. I'm just gonna stare in silence this whole hour while you ask me questions, and I'm gonna be like, nope.
I'll have to call my space brother, my brother Zortor the Destroyer. He'll come
I'm
here.
your space brother, man. That's like literally my whole thing.
Oh yeah, that's right. We established last time that I think this is the anime continuity, not the manga, right? Or was it the manga and it's not the anime? Either way.
Oh man,
it's quite an interesting adventure. I mean, I like this weather. We've had a lot of nice weather lately.
I'm gonna sit back and take a nap. Wake me up when an hour's over.
Wake me up inside.
But yeah, so I think everyone. Oh, there's some rabbits outside.
No,
there's been a lot of rabbits in town the last year. Like, I think their population has gone up.
Yeah, I know this one.
Have you seen that?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I definitely have seen some, especially on the trails. I walk on a trail that's right by my house. It's a rail trail, and I noticed like at least a year ago. I think it was especially during like the height of the pandemic when people really were at home and people weren't really messing with nature. And like I've seen this in other places in the world too. A lot of animals were just out on the trail. I saw at least a couple rabbits. I think I took a video of one, and there were probably some chipmunks, some woodchucks. There's some woodchucks in my yard. They always come out in the backyard all the time. But yeah, there's definitely been a lot of them running around.
One thing I found really interesting is that how fucking hot I am right now. Holy shit.
I know, you should see. Yeah,
like, it's not like we're not in shade. It's cloudy out.
I know. That's why I wear the sunglasses. See, I gotta look hot. I got the sunglasses. I got the mullet. I got like a mullet going here because, see, the thing is, guys, I am an all-star pop star. I am from the 80s. I've come to the future. You guys keep
You just said you were from the future.
Yeah, that's called a pothole, my friend. I just introduced you to some writing. Gosh. I'm trying to teach you writing. See, I took writing and I want to teach you. So that's the thing. So that right there is an example of a plot hole, a contradiction in the plot line.
The rabbits, like, I think it's like do you remember a few maybe like 5-6 summers ago where we had the huge stink bug problem?
Oh yeah, those little orange juice smelling freaks.
Yeah. So I think this is a kind of similar to that, because I think we didn't have that harsh of a winter this year. So
yeah, I would say the winter was harsh in other ways than the nature.
Oh well, yeah, because of COVID and shit.
Yeah.
But this, I think the winter is pretty good. And also, I think we've had some, I think the hunting laws the last couple of years have been a bit more lax with the birds of prey. So I think a combination of that means we have a bigger rabbit population this year.
Yeah, I know. I mean, the birds of prey thing is interesting because wasn't that even made into a movie? Oh, there's no crickets out. Darn it. We have every other insect. We don't have a cricket. This is the one time we need them.
So, no, they'll come. They're just late to their appointment. But yeah. So as you were saying about character development, everyone views. No, not everyone.
I mean, if you have the mind to kind of look at yourself like that, like if you're into like writing or storytelling, like if you're not into that, obviously it wouldn't.
Well, I think it is in our nature to improve upon ourselves, to become better versions of ourselves. We make mistakes and we learn from them, or people point out something that we're doing that will eventually make a mistake, and then we change before that mistake can be made. And I think some people do view themselves as side characters in their own life, and that is something that is a very terrible feeling, and I've experienced that before.
I have too. I could tell you, like, especially, in college when I wasn't really as good at being social, it always just felt like I was just even though like I had some good points in class discussions, like socially getting along with other people, I just always felt like there was like this distance, and I was just kind of like a minor character. Like I was kind of there, I showed up, did the discussion, I went to a meeting for my internship, I didn't really, everybody else seemed kind of connected, and it's kind of me, it's like I have this struggle with like, especially if it's like a new group of like trying to fit into something that's already an established group. Like it's like if I form my own group earlier on with these people, or people I meet like from the beginning, then it wouldn't be so hard. But like it's like when you're trying to enter it and like you already feel like there's a sense that they're already connected and you're kind of there. It's kind of a process, and I've just noticed overall that. What?
No man.
The bee?
Nope.
Okay.
Are you allergic to bees?
No, I'm just really. Wow, you see it? Oh.
No, it's just a bug on your shirt, that's all.
Is it gone? Careful.
There we go.
Okay, sorry. Thank you. Sorry, these freak me out. I'm freaked out of insects a little bit, but
Yeah, as you're saying.
Yeah, but
I'm
saying about the side character thing.
Yeah.
I think you understand what I mean, right? Like, like maybe you go to like a party or a gathering, like one person's your friend, but you don't really know their friends. Like maybe it's a friend from another town, and you're going to like a gathering, like you don't know any of their other friends, and like maybe sometimes they can try to introduce you, but you just feel kind of left out.
I think a part of that, especially when I felt that, was that I was just so much more interested in other people's lives, and I was also just so like. I had this feeling of like nothing's interesting about my life. Nothing, like I'm not like it. There's this feeling of like I'm invested in other people's happiness, but I'm not invested in my own. I'm not invested in my life. I don't feel invested in mine. Like when I was battling depression, that would be something I say to my therapist a lot. Like I just don't feel invested in myself.
Yeah.
And I think what we came to realize, and what I think other people feel like they're the side characters in their own life, is that even side characters get development.
Yeah.
And thing is, everyone and those side characters are the main characters in their own story, and we all deserve to feel like we're the main characters in our own story.
Yeah.
As long as we acknowledge that other people feel like they're our own main characters, and we have that sense of compassion.
Yeah.
I think we can all be invested in our own lives and try to make things better for our lives. It can balance out with other people. Well, I'm not saying everyone act in your own self-interest is going to balance out. That's not at all what I'm saying. I hate that philosophy.
Yeah, because if you go too far with that, I mean, you could justify a lot of really shitty things.
Be invested in your life and
like be in your not be yourself, but be your best self, right?
Yes. And what does it mean to be your best self? Well, I think there's what it means to be a best version of yourself means a lot of different things to a lot of different people. But I think the one thing you can say is don't be selfish. So, yeah. I heard that philosophy like, oh, if everyone looks out for their own self-interest, it's all going to balance out and be good. No, that's how wars start, my friend. That's how wars start. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying that.
Yeah, I would say the only counter argument I would say is just what you mean by selfishness. I think to the purest sense, you're right. That's like a really bad selfishness. But I think there is actually a kind of what I would call a good selfishness. And what I mean is it's like a selfishness of I want to be friends, and it makes me happy to connect with others, so I'm going to be nice. And then you end up outgoing in the process of also making yourself happier and building these connections. And that kind of thing. And even in the context of like the pandemic, like I think a bad selfishness is like, I'm not going to wear a mask because I just don't care, yada yada. But like if it's like I'm going to wear it not because maybe you're not as like about the community thing, but because I want to keep my family safe or my connection safe by wearing it. It's like you're still, even though you're not at the full level, but if everyone had that kind of selfishness, then maybe it still wouldn't be complete, but there would be more of a more directed kind of good that would come out of it.
I think self-interest, when we say self-interest, we're talking about personal gain. We're talking about material things.
Yeah, like
and
obsessions.
And when we say self-improvement, we're talking about intangible things. We're talking about
emotion, character,
that's
behavior,
very
habit.
different.
Habit's the big thing, because habit is something that once it's formed, it's hard to break, and it's also once you form a habit, it's really hard to break and undo. And this is something I learned a lot a few semesters ago in my virtue ethics philosophy class, and it was just really because we were looking at like that idea of like Aristotle's idea of like a character, and how like a character was like how they would strike a coin in like ancient Athens, in that kind of setting. It's like once it's stricken, it's like it makes an impression on it. It's permanent. It can get damaged, but at the very core, it's made. So if you're going to change your habit, it's going to be a process. You can't just overnight just go, I'm going to be good now. You have to every day. You have to do something, and you have to build at that to really form new habits.
Yo, off-topic question: do you got beer at your house?
I actually do have some. Yes.
When was the last time you drank?
A few days ago.
So we don't know if the bars are open yet in our town. And honestly, I don't feel comfortable drinking, even with like me being vaccinated. I still feel it's like a bit too early to go out drinking. Would you mind if after this we go back to your house and I have my first beer?
Yeah, we could do that. Yeah, I have a couple. I don't have a lot, but I do have some. I have some Heinekens. I have like 2 Heinekens, and I think this other one called Blue Ribbon. But I think
and that way, if I like drink it and I'm like I instantly spit it out because of how disgusting it is, I won't get stared at by all the other bar goers. So basically, if I just go in your house,
just get stared at by my cat.
Your cat has a vendetta against me.
No, he loves everybody. He loves you. He loves every person in the
Really?
earth.
Then why does he never talk to me when he sees me?
Because he only talks when he wants food. He's kind of spoiled. I spoil him, but no, he talks to you in a different way. Like he looks at you, he tiptoes a little. He puts out his face, and you put your finger and you like rubs against his tooth. He's a really
so
sweetheart.
He uses me as a toothbrush. Ew.
No, he's a sweet little prince, and everybody's gonna respect my little prince, whether they like it or not. I'm talking to you, FBI.
Dude, you know the CIA listens to us.
Yes, I know.
The FBI handed us over to the CIA months ago.
Well, I know a guy. I know a guy in the CIA actually.
And then oh really?
Yeah, he's he's a really great guy. He's got a son. He's got a daughter. He's got a.
This is gonna end in a joke, isn't it?
Yeah. And here's the really funny thing. He has a goldfish with a German accent. And an alien. I mean, what are the odds?
Dad.
Good morning, USA. Did the speed run.
Doug. Wait, you're not Doug.
Yeah, I am. I'm Doug Funny.
Oh my gosh. I have a friend at work named Doug, and I have to like put my hand on his shoulder and be like, Doug, like all week. But I do an actual serious thing. My mom was gonna work in the CIA.
What a twist! But really, was she really? Are you serious?
No joke, no cap, no lie, no fib, 100% true, very honest from me, Nicholas, about my mother. CIA, very true, very true. Look it up, Zone of Truth. Here we go. 100% laying it down right now. About to start.
Slam dunk. Thank you.
So, bloody hell. I am thirsty as fuck.
I think we're all a little thirsty.
We're less thirsty than we used to be.
Yeah, I would say definitely.
Our generation has had less sex than the previous generations.
Yeah, I'm just a little too
like
out there
the
for
statistics have actually shown it.
Yeah, it's true. I know there's like decline in birth rates too, I think, or something.
Yeah, and I think that doesn't have to do with.
Well, I don't know if it. Well, I mean, I know not everyone does it for those reasons, but I don't know if there's like a not anything. Not saying anything bad. Not any particular thing.
No.
Just in general, I'm not trying to be like, oh, Mister.
I do think the economy has part to do with lowering birth rates. Like, it's everyone's choice if they want to have a kid or not, and no one should pressure you into having a kid or not having a kid.
Yeah.
I personally can't wait to have kids one day, but I'm probably going to adopt.
Yeah.
But fuck, what was I talking about? What should I? Well,
the CIA thing, and then we went.
Well, now
into
I want to talk
about
about the kid thing.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
But
about the thirst.
Japan's population birth rate has been going down for the last like 30 years. Like they have that trend, and China as well. And again, it's everyone's decision whether or not you want to have kids. I think there are reasons though that can of why it happens more now, based on outside of just personal choice and whether or not you about effort, but also just economy. You know, if you have the money to do it right, do it well.
Yeah, and just access to people that you may meet, because if you're somebody that has to work at really at like 2 jobs, you may not have time to have that social aspect, or a lot of economic factors come into play. Just not beyond just like how much are you going to afford, but just interaction. There's like limits to interaction from having to work, and it can kind of dehumanize you if you spend too much time at one thing.
Like there's a difference between dropping your kid off at daycare, and then you pick them up, and then, you spend the rest of the day on them, or drop them off at daycare, picking them up, and then not interacting with them once you pick them up.
Yeah.
Because because work is just
you're shuffling
tiring.
between jobs sometimes.
Yeah.
I see a lot of that.
Like having to work 2 jobs is just, it is not feasible. It's not. Well, not feasible. Obviously, people do it, but it's not right. It's like no one should have to work 2 jobs to even barely scrape by.
Yeah, it's true, because I don't want to be someone that says that people shouldn't work, but like just to the extent of like how it is in the system right now, especially in the U.S., like I think that it shouldn't be that way. Like people work hard enough at one of them, and then if you want to, in all honesty, if you're raising a child, that's a job too. There's so much involved in that. So like you'd be saying that if somebody is like a parent that has to work 2 jobs plus they have a child, that's like 3.
I'm not saying people should get paid for raising.
Yeah,
the
that's
child.
what I'm saying. I'm just saying it's a lot of like work. It's the work component of it, and like you already have the work that's the money, and like you're just putting too much on one, and then there isn't really an element to find yourself. There is the self that
and
really
I think the only solution
that.
to that is wages have to be raised for jobs. Like people say like, oh, like if we raise the minimum wage to $15 an hour, well now I'm making less money by comparison. Well, one, a win for any worker is a win for all workers, because now someone is getting paid enough to live. If you're making $20 an hour or, $30 an hour, and when you had your first minimum wage job, you were getting $7 an hour, okay, yeah, you didn't get the justice that you deserved, but now someone else does. So you don't deny someone else the justice you never got. And second, I think if minimum wage gets raised, then that just means all wages will eventually get raised. You see what I'm saying? Like maybe.
Yeah, it's a relative thing. It opens the door for more, more opportunities of like
everything else.
Raising of wages.
Everything else has become more and more expensive. But the but the what wages for any job has not gone up, you know? Like,
Yep.
I'm not saying inflation's a good thing, but if inflation is already happening, then might as well apply it to the wages so at least it's consistent.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Actually, that brings me into another topic I was actually going to talk to you about. So earlier, I was just looking on Facebook in the morning. Bull Moose from Salem, right? There's a whole controversy going on right now. Actually, it's pretty crazy.
Bull
So
Moose from Salem. Where have I heard about
I think it's
Moose?
between the Golden Arches and the car dealership, somewhere in the middle.
Maybe I do know about Bull Moose because I drive through there at least every once a week.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
So anyway, what's up?
So basically, I guess so they actually fired their whole staff apparently. And what happened is, I guess, from what I'm reading, it's from employees from the thing that were posting about it, was that like a few days ago, the corporate chain, because Wilmus is actually part of a larger chain,
Right.
told them, they're gonna lift like some of the mask restrictions for like customers, where people don't wouldn't have to wear them coming in, and the employees they didn't threaten to do anything or anything. They just like raised a concern to them and were saying, hey, I don't think you rushed into this. I don't think this is a good idea. I don't think this is safe enough to do this yet. And then what do? They fire all of them. The store says it's temporarily closed, and now it's like there's just no idea what they're going to do now, and it's just really crazy. And just to see this happen to a store that I've grown up with my whole life, and seeing and then like other employees that used to work there that I'm actually friends with on Facebook now, like they're coming out with their stories about how they kind of knew that there was this kind of corporate meddling that was going on for a long time. And
That's
I just don't know what to do. And right now I don't know what I'm gonna. It's crazy too, because I actually wanted to work there for a long time. I was even going to apply like recently, and then this happens, and I'm watching the story right now. But that was what I was reading about earlier today. I hope they can take some kind of action. I know it's kind of hard to do, but it's just really,
because like who do you appeal to about something like that? Like especially if it's something as small as Bull Moose, which doesn't have that many stores.
yeah, it's just like a larger chain.
It's harder to like raise awareness for something that's small but still big enough to get like interfered by corporate. Like that sucks.
Yeah, I was it really took me by surprise just seeing that, waking up in my thing, and like it was like a tweet about it, and I was like, I was like, wait, what, really? That's because I usually see that kind of thing with like a business did something, or a corporation or something. I just really wasn't expecting it to be Bull Moose that would do something like that, and it just takes things in a different light. And it's like that thing as you get older, where it's like you have like when you're younger, you have this very idealized view of like the world. There's good and they're evil. Everything's really very simplistic, and then as you get older, you start to realize there's things that you thought were good at a time, but then you have the full context. You're like, oh wow, this is actually kind of bad, or there's something going on behind here, and now I have to look and recontextualize it different. Kind of like what we were talking about last week with like the canceled celebrities. You're gonna even if like if they do something really bad, you're going to look at their work differently. There's a way to detach from the artist, obviously, but you're always going to look at their work with this angle that like, hey, they said this thing, and they it may be connected. It's in your mind.
Look
it's
at it this way
subconscious.
though, Josh. Like the majority of your experiences with Bull Moose, and I think especially with the ones you've had with your mother, who like brought you to that store.
Yeah,
so much.
yeah. When I was little, yes.
The thing is, the reason it wasn't because of any person in an office that made those Bull Moose experiences so good for you. It was the employees there that
so that's
made
what makes it so devastating.
You interacting with those employees, and then the employees designing and setting up everything in a certain way so that way you could have the experience.
Yeah.
And all the hard work they did
Yeah.
to make it a good experience, even when it just came to stock on the shelves.
Yeah.
So I don't think you should let this. I don't think it can really taint that, because it had nothing to do with people in office. It was employees, and
I know
the employees put in their work, and hopefully with time they'll be back to work. Although I highly doubt they'll want to work at some place.
Yeah, they don't. Yeah, that's the thing. They were saying that, and I just really, to me, I just find that really sad, and I wish I could do more to help them. It just even though I know I'm not like hosted any of them. At the very core, it was just a very big experience in my life, and I really liked that store and everything. That obviously the employees put a lot into it. They had so many great conversations about I'd be buying some old, and like they would remember me from like before or something, and they would just say like one time they had a couple locations in Salem, so when they moved to like the bigger location that they had now, they had like a grand opening day thing, and one of the people there, they had this thing where you could spin this wheel and you get like a prize. I think I got like a small gift card, and then like the guy says, yeah, go in there and go buy some Dragon Ball Z. Like he knew that like I was there in previous times. I used to buy a lot of Dragon Ball Z DVDs there, so it's just that kind of personal touch to it, and that's what I mean. I just think it's really sad that they've been probably dealing with this stuff for a long time in different ways, and I hope them the best, and just hope it works out, or it gets reversed, or somebody stands up to it. It's just such a surprise.
It is. Real quick, do you want to go on pause and come back? Because I want to go get a drink.
Yeah, okay, we could do that. All right, guys. So we'll be right back with more chills, spills, and thrills on Channel 6
right
News,
now
Salem, New Hampshire.
So while you wait, here's our sponsors. And pause.
And we're back.
Oh my gosh! Wow. Yeah, we had to leave because I was getting really hot, and then it started raining, so it was actually coincided really well. And now I'm having my first beer, and wow, it tastes terrible.
Well, that's how it is at first. It's kind of an acquired taste. At least I thought so.
I hate acquired taste.
I think I'm going to have some more.
Bro, I have mine. That tasted terrible.
I wouldn't. Yeah, it's not. There's a bunch of different drinks. That one, a lot of people will say that it's not for everybody. I just like it because it's kind of simple. But hey, Kitty. The kitty came in to join the crew here in the podcast. But
meow 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 meow.
Yeah.
Kitty, you cannot say that on our podcast.
Listen, sweetie.
That is. Oh my gosh, guys! I'm so sorry for her. I'm so.
Little prince, my little prince.
I'm so sorry. We did not know he would say something that controversial.
Yeah, I know he's a loose
sponsors, please do not drop us. I swear we won't have the cat on the podcast again.
Yep. Okay. Yeah. So what we're gonna talk about now. So we talk about the weather some more. Maybe.
It's so yes. People want to hear me be like, oh, it's hot for the next 40 minutes as I take off my shirt. Because I'm sweating. We really could not have had a worse time to I think from now on we're gonna have to keep recording the podcast at night.
Yeah.
Because
the daytime's kind of brutal.
Because the daytime is brutal.
Yeah, and the only other time would be the morning, but the morning's kind of tough to do because you're kind of tired and you're just waking up
and also with the summer, you have to have some air conditioner or fan on, and if you have an air conditioner on, then you got loud noise, and that ruins the audio.
Yeah, it's always like, it just sounds like an angry, grumpy guy after you just mowed his lawn an inch too thick.
Let's try turning the fan on.
Yeah,
fans are usually not loud.
Yeah, as long as they're not on the internet or on Twitter.
I can already feel the salvation.
I know, it's great. It's like Terminator in 2009, right?
Who?
Huh?
Didn't Terminator come out in the 80s?
No, well, there's one called Terminator Salvation that came out in 2009. That was what I was trying to do, not saying it doesn't sound like
Oh, I'm sorry, your cat was, trying to...
No, he's doing the tooth rub. You should let him do that. He's so cute.
I'm already drunk. I had that one sip of alcohol and I'm drunk. Yeah, I'm sorry, man. I appreciate it. And I kind of told you, hey, give me alcohol. But
there's different
that one
kinds.
Sucked, my man.
Well, it can to some people. It's definitely. I just like it because I don't know. I kind of like the feeling of it, You see a side of me that has not been seen in centuries. My true form. If anybody's wondering, watching, you see the thing about me.
No one's watching. They're listening.
Oh yeah, that's true. Well, yeah, technically, yeah. But
the only one that's watching. The only one who's watching is the CIA right now with that camera in the in the side of.
I already told you,
corner.
Stan Smith is on that. But anyways, I just want to say about my thing about the seeing thing. Technically, don't we see with our minds too? Like when you say like when you say you could picture someone doing something, your eyes are not literally seeing that. Your mind is creating an image based on their perception of your eyes. So technically, they could be seeing this because they could be seeing in their minds what we're doing right now based on how we're mannerisms, how we're talking. And that to me is what's really, it's just really interesting to me. That's how life is. It's such a mystery how like it's so complicated and intricate, how the mind, the eyes, and those all the senses just come together like that and they blend. You know?
The imagination and like so yeah, like we like even the most, I think, even the people with like the least amount of emotional intelligence like can usually, picture someone talking and picture kind of what kind of facial expression they have and what people are doing when they listen to something only audio or when they're like reading a book. And that's what's really interesting to me. I think that's like really amazing that we can do that. There are things with minimum input and we can still find a way to feel connected to other people with it. Like we even do that with like animals and objects because we can picture and place human-like traits and personalities onto objects or animals, and we feel connected to other humans that way too. It's really interesting.
Yeah, there's just a lot more complexity to it because then the animal that you're picturing is made up of all those senses, sounds, and things within their own mind. So it's like you're picturing another picture within a picture.
But there are people who actually have the inability to voluntarily create mental images in their mind.
Yeah, so
it's called anaphantasia.
Isn't that a movie?
Yes, a Mickey Mouse movie. I feel like that's really insulting to call it something based off of one of the most highly well known. Animated movies of all time.
Yeah, it's really. It's always messy, but you know, Disney's no stranger to shady things. I mean, just look at them today. But yeah, that's really always interests me how like cultural words like that, like you think like they mean a thing, and then people kind of repurpose them in that way, and they, it could be seen as offensive, or you could say, well, does it really outweigh the value of like the work that comes out? Are we gonna really shun them down for the title like that? Like if somebody was going to go and tell you that they should change the title, well, the title is kind of the image of the work now, and the work is really something very powerful and renowned and
right. Like like maybe if like someone was like starting, so say for instance someone said, hey, the logo, the name seriously Sidetracked has negative content. It's like someone like pointed that out to us, like, and we didn't know about it. And say it's only been our second episode, we could be like, oh yeah, sure, like we can.
Yeah, it was early on, but by the time, like, let's say we were like 30 episodes in, or 40, 50.
I would say even then we could probably change
well, okay, maybe like 200.
Yeah, if we were 200 episodes in, like, then we would be like, okay, well, like, we've already made, like, logos and t-shirts and, like, merch, and it's going to be a lot harder to change, like, I mean, companies rebrand all the time, so it's not like something that was out of the question. It's just more.
It's just extra work for someone that already has an image of itself.
Right, and like sometimes you can reclaim something, but like again, if we ever say or do something or something that is something that you don't agree with, or something that's objectionable, always leave a comment or. Add us on Twitter, and like, we'll try our best to listen to those opinions and, take those into account. And at the very least, we love the feedback. So,
yeah, just let us know if anything, but just let us know sooner rather than later. That's what we're saying.
Yeah, because like if you're like listening to episode 2, so if you're listening to episode 2 for the first time, and it's 2025, and we're already way on episode 500. You say, hey, you guys said this really, like, ignorant thing in episode 2. It, like, blah 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 blah. Maybe put in a little effort to see if we've changed our views on that since then, before adding us.
Wait until the end before leaving a comment.
Yeah, well, not in the end of the episode, but like maybe in episode like 400, we then said something that we're like, oh, we no longer think that. Something, I don't know.
Yeah.
What do you think, Mr. Cat? What's your cat's name again? You told
Coconut McPigskin.
It is not Coconut McPigskin.
No, it is. It literally is what I named him when I got him.
Oh yes, but what is his name now?
His name's Coconut McPigskin, but I have a bunch of nicknames for him, so it's kind of tough. I call him Snuggles, Kitty, Snugglepush, my Honey Pie, my Angel
McPrince. Mr. something.
No, it's not. I think you're thinking of one of our former roommates. They had a cat. It was Doctor JJ White Sox.
Oh, that's what I'm thinking of.
The orange cat. That's not.
Hello, Kitty.
Big kitty now. Big
How
old
do you
man kitty.
feel about being called Kitty? Do you feel
He's like, well,
bullied by all the other cats on the block?
He's like, well, as long as I get my wet food, I'll be happy. It's his thing.
You're wet food.
He loves wet food.
You're wet food. You get dry food.
He gets both because again, he's a prince. He's a sweet little prince.
Okay.
Yeah. Very sweet. You're being very good right now. Thank you.
How do I pick? Oh, so this was a question I had for you.
Yeah.
So you and me, we both like Avatar, right?
Yeah.
And we both like Futurama.
Yes.
I've never watched more than one episode of Futurama.
Oh,
but I like
but you
premise.
okay? Because I was gonna say you seem like you had a bit of knowledge about it. You've been like, did you do what I do, where it's like you don't really watch it, but you look up the info and you follow like the videos about it. 'Cause that's always good.
I do that especially with comic books because just to get the summarization.
Yeah, there's just so much stuff.
Mhm.
It's like you don't really have time for
So
it.
I just read summaries and I kind of get approximate knowledge and jokes and memes from the people like I follow on Twitter and my friends who talk about it.
Yeah.
So what do Futurama and Avatar: The Last Airbender have in common?
Well, they have the guy that they're frozen and then they get thawed out. And then they also actually have a purpose for them, because in Futurama we find out later there's a reason Fry has to defeat these brain aliens, and he's the only one that can do it for reasons that are also in the show. Just like how Aang has to defeat the Fire Lord as the Avatar and bring balance in the world. Like, it's not done in the same way, but they both have a purpose.
Mm-hmm.
And then in the end, like, you could say in the moment, like, oh man, that's bad that they got frozen and all this. But then in the end, it's like, well, they actually needed to. For things to turn out the way they did, they had to.
So, question. Let's say, would you rather be frozen, be cryogenically frozen, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's no time travel. It's just like you're cryogenically frozen. There's no way back. And you are frozen until maybe 200 years in the future, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everyone you know is dead.
Yeah.
Everything you know that is familiar is just not relevant. There's nothing that's familiar. Would you rather be cryogenically frozen for 20 years? Or would you rather be cryogenically frozen for 10 years? And so everyone you know and love, for the most part, isn't dead, but their lives are vastly different, and they think you were dead for that time, and now you're coming back into their lives, and their lives are just different, and you miss out on so much. Which would you prefer?
That is really challenging, because I mean, would I be more depressed because of the 10 years lost, or would I just be with the shock of being so far into the future? Like, that's kind of tough, because I'm someone that is very emotional and very centered on missed opportunities, and I get really sad about those kind of things. So, but at the same time, I mean, it just sounds really terrifying to be so far away from, like, everything. There's not even a chance to have anything. At least with that, at least it would still be like a faint thing of hope that I could have some type of reconnection, or I could still adjust. So I would say definitely, I mean, but again, emotional impact, yeah, but then it would be better to have something than nothing. So I would have to go with the 10 years. What about you?
That's a good point, Mr. Kitty.
Very sweet little prince.
Very smart.
It's a little pretty.
I think I'd rather do the 200 years cryogenically frozen, because I think at that point because if I went 10 years, and all respect to your opinion, but I feel like they've already grieved my loss. They think I've died, and it's just. And I think me coming back into their lives, I think it would always be a point of. Well, I guess I guess it wouldn't be so dissimilar from like stuff that actually happens in real life, where it's like someone there's a falling out with someone. Like you do like people that go to jail and shit. They basically don't interact with that person for like everyone in their lives for 10 years or something. So I guess it wouldn't be too dissimilar. So I guess the 10 years as well.
And so we've reached an agreement.
You make a good point. Kitty. I was gonna go 200 years, but then Kitty.
Kitty, we'll
Kitty convinced me.
He has mind powers. I tell you, my cat has mind powers. He can do things with his mind. He can move doors. He's very powerful. He's a very powerful cat. So
I'm thinking we should record every other week the podcast.
Yeah, that actually.
I think that's much more manageable.
Yeah,
especially because like if we want to have some profound things to say, but also silly things. I think we should make it every other week.
Yeah, it would have. Like I said, I was talking to you earlier outside of this about sometimes the value of some relationships and connections is like that time in between, and that adds more value when you do it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think with something like this, it could get monotonous if we.
I agree.
And I think with
we might feel like we're monetizing our friendship.
Yeah.
How long have you been recording?
Well, we're at 41 minutes total, so we're kind of short.
That's alright. We don't have to do an hour. It's not like we have.
Yeah, we don't have to.
Obligations.
We kind of do. I kind of got off the phone with the mayor of Lawrence, and he said that we're going to do it. And because we got to advertise a billboard. It's right above Big and Beefy. I mean, it always takes a lot, but okay, so I guess we'll finish here.
Well, now I have something I want to talk about.
Okay, all right, let's continue. Sorry, guys, sorry we fooled you. That was a little fake out end, and we wanted to try that because we wanted to see, did you guys click out of the video? Because if you did, you're a loser, and I know you're not watching, so you won't hear us say this. Okay.
Actually, I report to all the people that don't listen to our podcast because they want a summary.
Oh no!
And so that's gonna be in the. That's gonna. Maybe they don't listen to this episode, but maybe they'll listen to the next episode. There's gonna be a recap at the end of at the beginning of every episode. So.
Well, I'm sorry, guys, but sometimes in life we make some decisions that we just aren't proud of,
Yeah, you're gonna get canceled over calling people losers.
Oh well, but I didn't. That wasn't me. That was Jeffrey. Jeffrey Jackson. He's right behind me, right? No. Okay, sorry guys. I was just kidding. I want you guys to know I love all of you. I love the Noonanites. I just look. This is what happens. See, you give me one, okay? I'm untamed. That's just one. Thank you.
So, question I have for you. Oh gosh! Wow.
What?
No, I just saw.
Picture of a dog getting eaten by a shark at the beach.
I just saw something that's just like so beautiful online. And I'm like, gosh, I want to be there right now.
Yeah, like you're watching when they go to Pismo Beach, right? And like the bunny comes out of the ground. No. Okay. We'll get into that next time because I think personally what I just got, I think I'm onto something. Okay. So let's say like you go to Pismo Beach, right? And
where's that?
I think it's somewhere in the U.S. I don't really know exactly where. I just know Bugs Bunny used to like to go there, but it's a real place as far as I know. Again, don't vouch me on this. I'm not a geography. What do they say? Geography? I don't know how to say it. I'm a writer, philosopher. Kitty. No. Very good. Yeah.
So. Have you seen the recent Pentagon report? Not Pentagon. Have you seen the recent 60 Minutes documentary about people encountering UAPs, unexplainable aerial phenomena?
No, I have not.
So basically, these were soldiers. So this is like all happening within this week. So soldiers, like pilots, are talking about the frequency in which they've seen these unexplainable aerial phenomenon of objects making like maneuvers that would be impossible with today's technology. And then Obama basically being like, yeah, we've had multiple briefings about UFOs, which we now call UAPs. And they're out there, and we don't have an explanation for them. And then the Pentagon, within a month, is going to be releasing a report to Congress, a declassified report to Congress, about the research into UAPs and UFOs. Basically, this is the most we've ever heard talked about this ever.
Well, that's very
by official source. By official sources.
Yeah, that's very interesting. Really would like to see where that goes, because I always thought that just the concept of that, you got the flying discs and they fly around, like that's kind of cool.
Like if these are aliens, which the government isn't saying they are, they're just saying they don't know what these are. If these are aliens, just like imagine how much that would change our society.
Yeah, if it really, I think what would change is probably like people would just, they would probably stay inside more. They wouldn't want to go outside to see the aliens coming down because they'd be coming from the ship.
Well, what if it was like a kind of, not something where it's like, oh, they're here and they're interacting with us, but it's just something like, okay, we have proof they're real.
Well, probably there would probably be a panic campaign, maybe some misinformation on Facebook. The usual. Granny will share it, and then all the aunts will share it, and then it'll be like, oh, these aliens are actually the politicians. You know how they like to do that. But I mean, I've seen my fair share of that. Trust me.
They will definitely.
You go on Facebook nowadays, you see that crap everywhere.
There will definitely be like at least a few new religions starting up because of it.
Yeah, like that thing.
Scientology will probably get a boost, which sucks because you know how abusive they are.
Yeah, I know.
You will barely escape with your life from them.
Yeah, it's such a weird thing. It's such a weird thing that so many jokes have been made about it, and I didn't really understand a lot of it for a while because it just was like I just kept hearing about how weird and strange it was, and I just didn't really know much about it.
It's a cult.
Yeah.
Extortion. They do a lot of shady things. It's possible they've killed some people.
Wow. It's intense. But you heard it here first, folks. We will report the biggest
when the
kills.
aliens get here, we'll be the first
day.
people to have.
We'll have them on. We'll have a guest.
We'll have a guest like
Zortor,
Jimmy Fallon and
Jimmy Falcon Punch
and Stephen Colbert. They all try to get the first interview with the first alien, but we will be the first ones to have an interview with aliens.
Yeah, because the aliens will turn them into animals. Like you'll have Jimmy Falcon. And what was the other guy that we just talked about?
Stephen Colbert.
Yeah, Stephen Colbert. He's a bear. So you got the bear and you got the falcon.
Anyway, so actually, our first guest is actually General Tetra, and he's coming in right now. So everyone, please welcome General Tetra of the Nebulous Galaxy.
Thank you very much, everybody.
I'm gonna be General.
No, I'm General.
No, I am General Tetra. You get to interview me.
Okay, whatever you say, Mr. Big Shot.
So, General Tetra, how are you today?
I'm doing pretty.
No,
good.
I'm General Tetra. Why are you talking?
Because I am like Switchmates and I use the Switchinator.
So let's start that again. So please, guys, welcome to the podcast. Our first ever alien guest star on any ever being interviewed, General Tetra. Hello, it is good to be here.
So it's great to have you here, Tetra.
I am not done talking. My introduction is very long. Hello, it is good to be here to observe all the specimens in the zoo. It is great. We will definitely take care of you and give you good treats. Alright, you may now begin asking me questions, the state-approved questions. I'm not done talking.
But it was so
I know.
funny. But
Your
the
customs don't understand.
No, sorry,
I talk very
but
loud.
no, but you gotta understand that
No,
only if the world knew
you
the
do
things
understand.
I knew.
My species exists in the fourth dimension beyond your understanding.
Look,
so when I
created
say
the
ask you a
fifth
question,
dimension.
I'm talking to you in 10 minutes.
No.
You must wait.
No.
Anyway, as I was saying, we will transform your planet. We will get rid of all the forests and make it nice big sand so we can make big sandcastles. Do you understand?
Yeah, yes, I think we get what's going on here, man. But here's the thing: we have a question from Diane from.
Oh, Diane! Thank you very much for your question. I love you very much, Diane. You will be my #1 specimen in the zoo. All right, go ahead.
So when you go between planets, it's like, you got your cold planets, your hot planets.
Mm-hmm.
What do you prefer? Do you prefer a really cold kind of Neptune-ish kind of thing, or are you more of like a hot kind of like?
Well, I think I made it very clear when I told you my plan. When I told you our plans for your planet, we're gonna make it more sandy. So yes, we prefer the hot climate. It's very good. We like the sand planets the most. We don't care that sand is coarse and rough. We like to make sand castles. So yes.
Well, actually, I got
we
someone
are
else.
artists by trade, and we do our war so we can make more art with all your blood.
Well, I got somebody else here that wants to talk to you.
Oh, okay.
It's me. It is I, Evron Kai, and I know that you Noonanites, I know you're listening to us. I know. You believe in me. You obey me. Your species worships
know
me.
What you're gonna say.
I rule the Noonanites. You Noonanites are going to pay big time for trying to destroy me on the day in Halibut Point 2 weeks ago. I still live on inside the blood of the last Noonanite warrior who tried to destroy me. And all of you will have to battle me again. Next time on Joshua
No
Ballsy.
one knows who Evron is.
Oh, yeah, they all get
But everyone knows who General Tetra is.
No.
He is loved by all the people of his planet. And let me tell you this right now,
Evron Kai.
Let me tell you this right now, Evron.
What?
You have lost once, you will lose again.
No.
This is our sandcastle.
I made you what you are, General. I hired you to destroy Josh Noonan and his pitiful friends years ago, and they destroyed you. The guy on the podcast, the other guy, the guy I just replaced.
I don't. What? This is not. My casting agent did not tell me this was gonna happen. I should have just gone on Jimmy Fallon. This is ridiculous. I am leaving. You cannot have 2 guests at once. This is ridiculous.
Perfect. We defeated him. So now that I, Evron Kai, take over, get out of my body.
Josh, you just lost our first interview with an alien.
Sorry, I don't know what happened. Something just came over me.
Josh.
Wait, was that Evron Kai?
Oh my gosh, Josh, no one knows who Evron is?
I don't know if you guys know, but see, Evron is going to destroy us all. I'm trying to warn everybody. I've been trying to tell people through so many different things the past few weeks. He is real. Did you see? He took over me. And you guys saw that. You guys saw that on camera. Well, not camera, but you know what I mean. You guys get what I'm saying, right? Thank you. This episode is sponsored by NordVPN. You want to search its style? You gotta watch out for...
Yeah, if you don't want to get your whole bit hijacked by your friend here, use NordVPN. It'll protect you from your friend stealing your bit about General Tetra by talking about
Evron.
Everyone knows who General Tetra is. No one knows who Evron is.
No one knows who either of us are. That's why I wanted to form an alliance to destroy
That is not how you form an alliance on my planet.
Well,
if you must beat me in an art sculpture contest to form an alliance.
I don't think that would work. I'm not really more of an art type. I'm more of a destroyer than a creator.
We would never have an alliance.
Very well. I'll just destroy your planet. Spawn. Kill the traitor.
We can't. Our planet is malleable. How do you think we make our architecture? We just transform the planet like it's sand. That's
Yes.
why we here at this planet to make it sand.
Well, you must understand that sand is a very, very powerful material. You see, basically, we're gonna rule the world, and when we do someday, you'll never stop us. You'll never see the last of me because I rule the world. Whoa, 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 whoa.
I just tried to knock Josh out of his trampoline
You
chair.
can't knock him out of the ring, you see, because that's only in episode 133. But yeah, this is quite an interesting podcast. I have to say, this was seriously sidetracked.
We will definitely figure out a style and format.
Yeah, I think we're gonna need to.
It's gonna take a while. Please bear with us.
Yeah,
probably
please.
skip over. Future fans. You know, when we're on episode 500, you don't have to listen to these episodes.
Yeah, I just want to say that
we're gonna record every other week because otherwise I get really tired.
I think what it is really that
trying to be entertainment.
Yeah, it's not easy. See, it's kind of like it's just you have to be in the moment, in the time, and when you're in that state, you could just do whatever you want. Like I control an entire solar system.
Because here's the thing:
I eat planets for breakfast.
In
guys.
friendship, it's okay to have silence and have like
and a couple kisses here and there.
Yeah, and hugs and a little.
Ton licking.
Yeah, tongue licking. That's fine for a normal relationship. But if me and Josh, if we had to do this podcast every week, we wouldn't really have those kisses and silences and whatnot.
And everyone, Kai.
We'd have to be entertaining every single second. So we're gonna do it every other week.
Yep. You gotta stop knocking that over though, because the thing is, this is not the best setup, but I do appreciate the sentiment of trying something new, and that to me is always important.
Yeah, me too, man. When we found out that our noses were too big for our kissing, what we did, tried something new, and one of us now hangs upside down when we kiss.
Yeah, and you guys know the whole twist, right? That like everybody's actually genetically related to me, and like the whole story of my life is that all these people that I thought were just my friends, it turns out that our heritages were actually related genetically. We all created a special experiment to
everyone's just your genetic slave, Josh.
That's a little bit. We don't use that wording. You see, that doesn't really sell the papers. What you have to do is be like, I'm Joshua Noonan. I rule the universe. I probably rule your town. I rule every city. And someday, you guys are going to be eating out of the palm of my hands. And that's how it's going to be.
Well, luckily, I'm Jinno Tetra, and I have 12 hands, so I can feed more!
I'm Everon Kai. I can create 12 illusion fighters of myself using only 50% of my power.
They're illusions, so they can't hold the food!
No, but they can destroy you.
You and I build empires very differently.
Yeah, you see me? I just go in there and I get revenge on the Noonanites who sealed me away in the void between worlds centuries ago. You just want to just do it for the sake of it? Come on, you have to have a reason.
I do have a reason. We are transforming this planet into sand so we can build sandcastles. It is part of our art. We are a very artistic culture.
But how does that solve anything? Don't you want to solve crises
we get to
from
make
centuries
more art.
ago?
What do you expect?
I expect a world empire that's made by me.
We are an empire. This is just how we perform our empire. We build more things.
You have to destroy to make
we
fear in all your civilians.
We are destroying the forest to make sand.
No, we gotta destroy it all. Even the sand. You have to eat the sand, spit it out, and create Onsarat, my evil attendant skeleton man.
Sand. That's why we make things out of the sand.
Oh, it reminds me of a song from Earth. I think you're very familiar with it. Her name is Rio, and she dances on the sand.
All right. Good night, everyone.
Like
Let's
that
stop
river twisting through the dusty land. And when she shines, no, it's not. I rolled it out.